The stories you're about to see are real. The rewards up to $5 million are real. This is Augusta Crime Stoppers, where you stay anonymous. The criminals don't. And now, this Crime Stoppers special report.
Sometimes Crime Stoppers ask us how rewards are paid. Area citizens have volunteered their time and formed a board of directors to oversee the Crime Stoppers program. This board approves the rewards to be paid based on information about the case presented by the police. Once the board approves a reward and the caller is called back to check on the case, the tipster is given instructions on how to pick up the reward. The tipster is given secret code information. The caller will receive the cash reward money. No one will ever know the identity of the caller, providing information to help solve the crime. If you know about any felony crime, we want you to be able to collect your reward. You must give us as many details as possible about the crime when you leave your message, and you must be the first one to do so. We need this information to help the police make the arrest and indictment. Some ideas of what information is needed. What kind of crime do you have information about? What do you know about this crime? Did you see it happen? Did the person who committed the crime tell you about it? Do you know the name of the person who committed the crime? What does the person look like? Color of hair, eyes, height, weight, age? Where is this person living, or where does he or she hang out? When did you last see this person? Maybe you know who his or her friends are. Does this person have a car, or did you see a car when this crime was committed? Can you describe the car, license plate, color, model, damage to car? Today, a tipster helped take down another bad guy off the street. The police said the tipster was not the first person to ID the bad guy. The police did not inform the press that the bad guy was taken off the street by a Crime Stopper tip, so the tipster did not qualify for an AugustaCrimeStoppers.org reward. But because the tipster gave an accurate info, which is rare, and continued giving locations of the bad guy, I felt they deserved a reward and paid them anyway. Then we paid them another cash reward out of my own pocket. If the police do a press release saying a Crime Stoppers tip resulted in taking out a bad guy off our streets, you will be paid. Fox 54 reports one man is in custody in connection with the beating death of an elderly Trenton man. Donald Hurtcamp Jr., 36, was arrested by the Buckingham County Sheriff's Office in Virginia. According to a report, Aiken County deputies got a tip, just like your tipsters, we're tipsters, they were tipped off about Hurtcamp's whereabouts. He was arrested at 12 a.m. Sunday and is now in the Piedmont Regional Jail until he can be extradited back to Aiken County. Hurtcamp was wanted for murder and burglary in the first degree. The second suspect, Anne Marie Evans, 33, was not with Hurtcamp at the time of his arrest. Augusta Crime Stoppers received a tip that second night saying that Anne Marie Evans had asked a man on Broad Street where was a cheap hotel, and he directed her to the Budget Inn on Broad Street. Then, the next morning, he saw the news and realized that he had directed a suspect in a murder investigation to the Budget Inn. So he called Crime Stoppers. Crime Stoppers immediately called dispatch, and dispatched a cruiser, but it took a while for dispatch to get the cruiser out there. There was only one cruiser. The lady could have left by several different exits. We tried to get as many eyeballs on the Budget Inn surrounding it as we could, and we only got one cruiser there, and then unfortunately, even though I tried to get everybody I could, there was only me, so we were not able to cover all the exits of the hotel, and apparently the lady, if she was staying there, has escaped. So, the lady you see on your screen, Anne Marie Evans, 33 years of age, is still on the loose as of the production of this segment. And if you see her in South Carolina, you can call Crime Stoppers at 888-CRIME-SC. That's 888-274-6372. In Georgia, you can call 800-222-TIPS or text your tips to tips@AugustaCrimeStoppers.org, where you remain anonymous and get paid. Richmond County Sheriff's deputies report 2 black males were shot and wounded after leaving the U-21 Club on Wrightsboro Road and Jackson Roads this week. Deputies say Jaquan Robinson, 18, and Fredrigus Gibbs, 21, left the club and walked to the Smart Store at Foxden to buy some Black & Milds. The incident report says that they saw 2 cars passing them, and these 2 cars slowly turned around to approach. These men heard someone yell, "That's them," before shooting at them. Then they ran for their lives. The sheriff's office reports Gibbs was shot in the left arm and twice in the left leg. Robinson was grazed in the left calf, but they say the wound was minor. If you think you know where these 2 carloads of shooters may be, please call the police. Crime Stoppers at 800-222-TIPS or text your tips to tips@AugustaCrimeStoppers.org, where you remain anonymous and get paid. Richmond County Sheriff's deputies report on May 6th at approximately 1930 hours, the black male subject you see on your screen made entry into the back door of GameStop, 3209 Deansbridge Road, without permission and took a PlayStation handheld console without paying for it. The subject you see on your screen is a black male who's in his late teens to early 20s, was wearing dark gym shorts with white trim, dark Adidas sandals, and a gray t-shirt. If you think you know who or where this younger black male may be, please call Deputy Angela Gates. Crime Stoppers at 800-222-TIPS or text your tips to 803-441-8744, where you remain anonymous and get paid. The Augusta Chronicle reports police in the Savannah area are searching for a man they say dragged an officer with his patrol car and almost ran over the lawman. Savannah Chatham Metropolitan Police say the officer had responded to a shoplifting call at a Savannah convenience store Saturday night when he confronted a suspect. Police say the 23-year-old suspect entered the patrol car and sped away while the officer's arm was trapped between the seat and seatbelt of the vehicle. Police say the officer was able to free himself from the moving car and then had to roll away from it to avoid being struck by its rear wheel. He was treated for minor injuries. Police say they've identified the suspect, who is being sought on a charge of aggravated assault on a police officer. If you think you know who or where this suspect may be, please call the police. Crime Stoppers at 800-222-TIPS or text your tips to tips@AugustaCrimeStoppers.org, where you remain anonymous and get paid.
On May 19th, Richmond County Sheriff's deputies responded to 2807 Tobacco Road, the Family Dollar Store, in reference to a robbery. A black male in his 20s, about 180 pounds, snatched an undisclosed amount of U.S. currency from the cashier. During the struggle, the suspect also punched the cashier in the face. The suspect fled from the scene. Investigation is in the very early stages. Updates will be provided as they become available. No arrests have been made. If you have any information on this or any other crime, contact the police. Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-TIPS or text your tip to 1-803-441-8744, where you remain anonymous and can get a cash reward.
Richmond County Sheriff's deputies say a good Samaritan offering to help people change flat tires turns out to be the latest scam artist. The Augusta Chronicle's Bianca Kane Johnson reports at least 4 of the cases have been reported in Richmond and Columbia counties since Friday. In each case, the victim returns to his car and discovers a flat tire. A man then approaches and offers to help change the tire. The man then asks for money or tells the victim a sob story to get cash. In one case, at CBS 1520 Walton Way, the man approached the victim and continued to offer help to fix the tire, even though she told him she would call AAA Travel. After she finally agreed, he exited his SUV with a tire iron already in his hands. Midway through the job, he told her he was charging $40 because he and his wife, who has cancer, were homeless and might have their children taken away. In another case, the man coerced the victim to give him money and then followed the victim to a bank ATM to receive the cash. According to incident reports, most of the victims learned they were scammed after taking their vehicles to a tire shop to be repaired. Technicians said the tires appeared to be intentionally slashed and warned the drivers that they had seen several similar cases recently. Incidents have been reported at Walmart on Wrightsboro Road, Lowe's on Bobby Jones Expressway, and 2 CVS's on Walton Way. Lieutenant Alan Rollins says it's possible there are more cases that were never reported to police. On Tuesday, the Columbia County Sheriff's Office says the scam artist from the Lowe's incident was possibly traveling in a light green Buick Rendezvous SUV-type automobile. Rollins said investigators have alerted all road patrol deputies of the scam and asked them to be extra alert while patrolling shopping centers. Drivers are asked to use caution when returning to their vehicles and be aware of their surroundings. Drivers who think they might be victims are asked to notify police immediately. Several people in this area have complained about local media not giving full descriptions of individuals that are wanted doing terrible things like this. Truly, with all these witnesses that have seen the guy, he changed their tire, certainly one of the victims who was looking at the guy the entire time his tire was being changed might remember what he looked like. Is there some type of plot for the media to be politically correct or leave out the description of this individual? Sometimes we begin to think, well, if they didn't describe him, then he must look like that. And that is a stereotype. We don't want to go by stereotypes. We just want a description of the guy. Is he Hispanic? Is he light? Is he dark? Did he have red hair? Did he have brown hair? Did he have black hair? Was he tall? Short? Whatever. If you think you know where police may find this slasher, please, we urge you to call the police right away. If a press release says a Crime Stopper tip led to the arrest of this scammer, you get paid.
Richmond County deputies are looking for 2 men who robbed a man and a woman at gunpoint outside an Augusta store. Deputies responded to Young's grocery store at 1671 Olive Road just before 9 p.m. on April 24th. A man and a woman told deputies when they left the store and got into their car, 2 men approached them pulling out a handgun and tried to rob them. The male victim struggled with the robber. The 2 victims were able to run back into the store for help. After they were inside the store, the second robber entered the car and took the woman's purse. The men were last seen running into Jennings Place apartments, according to the sheriff's office. The robbery was captured on surveillance video. Both men are in their late teens to early 20s, deputies said. One of them was wearing a white t-shirt, black or dark pants, black shoes, and a bandana tied around his head. The other man was wearing light-colored shorts, black shoes, and a bandana tied around his head with a black t-shirt. Deputies said the surveillance photos showed the men looking around the store before the robbery happened. Anyone with information on these men in the photos can contact any on-duty violent crimes investigator or Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-TIPS. or text your tips to 803-441-8744, where you remain anonymous and get paid.
Tiffany Takahashi of Fox 54 reports a reward is offered in North Augusta shooting. A $5,000 reward is offered for information leading to the arrest of the person who shot and killed a man in North Augusta in January. Donnie Lee Brooks Jr., 23, was around 2:45 a.m. on January 11th at the Ridgeview Manor Apartments off Bradleyville Road. The suspect fled the scene and still has not been identified. The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives is asking anyone with information about this crime to contact ATF at 1-888-ATF-TIPS. That's 888-283-8477. All calls will be kept confidential. This crime is being investigated by the ATF Regional Anti-Gang Enforcement Unit, which consists of ATF, North Augusta Department of Public Safety, Aiken County Sheriff's Office, Aiken Department of Public Safety, Richmond County Sheriff's Office, and the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division.
And now, this Crime Stoppers special report.
Crime Stopper Suzanne Hamner reports, Obama looks to unconstitutionally take over local and state police. With Obamacare, the government took control of the health care insurance industry and, in effect, the health care of Americans under the ruse of insuring the 20 to 30 million individuals who did not have health care insurance. Obama is now set to do another takeover, local and state policing. Monday, Obama unveiled his plan for the takeover, which the Daily Caller has dubbed Obama Law. Obama went on to say, in just the way the government took over health care through mandatory requirements for health insurance policies, issuing subsidies and federal grants to the state for medical expansion, Obama is set to exercise expanded control over local and state law enforcement. Per Obama, we need more information to find out how to take to scale best practices when it comes to training so that police officials are able to work in a way that reduces the possibilities of bias. Translation: all law enforcement officers are racist and need to be retrained. Obama suggested that state and local policing may need to be subordinated to federal authorities. Whenever Obama gets his fingers in the pie, you can guarantee he's going for the whole pie, not a sample. Now it begins. The federal government, under the control of one Barry Soetoro, also known as Obama, is following the move by Adolf Hitler in creating a brown shirt law enforcement army. Despite what Obama says, this federalization of state and local law enforcement has nothing to do with any type of law enforcement or policy and procedures used by those agencies. Obama lies time and time again. This has everything to do with being able to identify and target individuals and groups at a local level Obama views as dissidents. In other words, if you belong in a category Homeland Security identifies as right-wing extremist, or terrorist as they call you, then you will be targeted for roundup or worse. What better way to accomplish that than to elicit local and state law enforcement cooperation? Several reporters in the media have been warning their audience about the actions of Obama that would lead to the subjugation of individuals and the internment of individuals in FEMA camps. But many of the sheeple still don't see that the wolf, not the shepherd or his trusty sheepdog, are standing guard over them. The government has taken over health care insurance and health care, usurped education, and further seek to brainwash our children through Common Core and cause the property and housing bubble through mortgage rules established for the banking industry, not the citizens. All these past actions have resulted in disaster. If the past is any indication of the future, the federalization of state and local law enforcement will be as well. At this point of time, before the takeover, Americans need to band together at the local level, bombarding elected officials to initiate laws preventing their agencies from taking part in this fiasco. Citizens will need to press their county sheriffs to maintain their oath to the Constitution of the U.S. and their respective states. States' legislatures will need to be bombarded with a grassroots effort to resist this Nazi establishment of the American brown shirts. If this is not stopped, the U.S. will experience all the flavor of Hitler's Nazi Germany, meaning America will no longer be a free country. Lieutenant Alan Rollins of the Richmond County Sheriff's Office sends us another shooting on East Telfair. Imagine that, in River Glen Apartments. Surprise, surprise. One guy was shot. Upon arrival, deputies observed Mr. Alonzo Henderson laying in the entranceway to the building. Mr. Henderson advised that he was walking through the complex en route to his residence. Mr. Henderson advised that when he got close to the Q building in the back of the apartment complex, he was shot. Deputies observed an entrance wound in Mr. Henderson's left side. Mr. Henderson advised that he did not see who shot him or anyone around at the time of the incident. Deputies spoke with the listed complainant, Mrs. Kenya Lee, who advised that while she was cooking in her apartment Q123, she heard what sounded like a gunshot. So she called 911. Ms. Lee advised that after she heard the shot, Mr. Rashad Leach looked out of their apartment window and saw a male laying in the entranceway to the building. Mr. Leach advised that when he went to help and observed Mr. Henderson laying on the ground in the entranceway bleeding, he decided to get some help. Deputies did not observe a crime scene or any evidence, shell casings or anything in the area at the time of the call, which indicates this individual may have been shot with a revolver that does not leave a shell casing behind. Deputies notified Investigator Smith, 7:30, who arrived on scene a short time later, at which time the investigator was turned over to him. Gold Cross Medical Unit 29 responded and transported Mr. Henderson to GRU Hospital, 1120 15th Street, for treatment. If you think you know who or where this shooter may be, please call the police. Crime Stoppers at 800-222-TIPS or text your tips to 803-441-8744, where you remain anonymous, unshot, and get paid. Now for an update on the Hester Jackson murder, Richmond County Sheriff's Office Lieutenant Blaze Dresser called a press conference on the 2700 block of Willis Foreman Road to announce a cash reward of up to $9,000 for the arrest and conviction of those responsible for the murder of 56-year-old Hester Jackson. Police are still searching for the shooter or shooters responsible for killing Mr. Jackson as he arrived home on Willis Foreman Road. Those who knew him say Jackson was a quiet gentleman who kept to himself and recently married a woman from North Carolina. AugustaCrimeStoppers.org has added another $1,000 reward payable upon the arrest of the shooters, so any witnesses that may come forth will have cash now and later should a conviction occur, bringing the total amount of the reward in the Hester Jackson case to up to $10,000. Okay, you guys are offering $9,000. We just added another $1,000 to it for Augusta Crime Stoppers. So now you can tell people that the reward is up to $10,000 total. Okay? Is there anything y'all would like to tell the whole world? Who do you think did this? Just what do you think? Who, what, where, any clues? If you have any information about the Hester Jackson murder as he arrived at his home on Willis Foreman Road, please call Lieutenant Blaze Dresser or Investigator Calvin Chu at 706-821-1020 or AugustaCrimeStoppers.org at 706-722-1010, where you'll always remain anonymous and get a cash reward. Richmond County Sheriff's deputies are investigating who stole DVD equipment and seats from charter buses at Lewis Bus Line. Lewis Bus Lines called the police to their bus business at 4156 Mike Paget Highway Monday after they discovered the theft. According to Lewis Bus Line, 28 DVD monitors, 6 DVD players, and 2 cloth-covered seats from 10 different buses parked on the property were taken. The Lewis Bus Line employee estimated the theft may have taken place since March 30th. He stated drivers and employees have access to the buses at all times. An officer did not observe any signs of forced entry to any of the buses. If you think you know who stole 28 DVD monitors, 6 DVD players, and 2 cloth passenger seats from 10 different buses at Lewis Bus Line, please call the police. Crime Stoppers at 800-222-TIPS or text your tips to 803-441-8744, where you remain anonymous and get paid.
Now for an update on the Travis Moore murder investigation. As you may have already seen on crime reports, investigators say Moore was gunned down on the 3400 block of Old Louisville Road at Finney Road a little before 2:30 a.m. on Thursday morning, May 26th. Witnesses say Moore was robbed and shot while on his way home from a nearby club, even though he was in his own front yard with another male and female friend who saw the whole thing. Travis's friends have set up a Facebook page in an effort to find Travis's killers called R.I.P. Travis Moore. At the time of the shooting, the suspects were described as 2 black males wearing ski masks, and someone may have seen stalking Travis in the Old Louisville Road at Finney Road area. However, new information has emerged indicating that one of the robbers may have been white. A lawn man mowing a lawn near where Travis was shot found a small caliber pistol. Now that we know the bullet that was taken from Travis was a small caliber, Augusta Crime Stoppers is doubling our previous reward of up to $2,000. for information leading to the gun that shot Travis, or any information which may lead to Travis's killer. If you think you know how police may find who shot Travis Moore, please call Investigator Blaze Dresser at 706-821-1020. Or, for more information, visit our Augusta Crime Stoppers Facebook page and submit your tip. As always with Crime Stoppers, you may remain anonymous and you will get a cash reward. The Richmond County Sheriff's Office is seeking tips of the almost 200 people at the scene of Kyle Royal's shooting that may lead police who shot him in an auto as it sped from Magic City and the Legal Teen Club at 3200 Mike Paget Highway. If you have any information about this shooting, please call Lieutenant Calvin Chu at 706-821-1028. Crime Stoppers at 800-222-TIPS or email your tips to tips@AugustaCrimeStoppers.org, where you can remain anonymous and get paid. Richmond County Sheriff's deputies need your help finding a suspect that went to Augusta Mall and stole 85 pairs of panties from Victoria's Secret. A store employee says that all those panties are valued at $1,322. They were taken from several parts of the store, and people aren't sure if it was a man or a woman who took the panties. Some people say that Victoria's Secret is a shoplifter's paradise because it has little rooms in the back. We're not exactly sure what the little rooms are in the back are for at a lingerie store, but it made for a great place to steal panties. If you know of someone offering Victoria's Secret name brand panties with the tag still attached, please call the police. Crime Stoppers at 800-222-TIPS or text your tips to tips@AugustaCrimeStoppers.org, where you remain anonymous and get paid.
Augusta Crime Stoppers is brought to you by WBEK Channel 16 and Augusta Crime Stoppers. You too could be a Crime Stopper. If you have any information on any crime, call our tip line at 1-800-222-TIPS. Augusta Crime Stoppers is a production of Michael's Media. Augusta Crime Stoppers, where you stay anonymous. The criminals don't.